Welcome to the India Fintech Diaries, the only podcast focused exclusively on the Indian fintech market. I'm Elroy.
And I'm Hemant. In each episode, we dive into the latest trends, ideas, innovations, business models, and personalities that are shaping India's fintech landscape.
We also invite amazing guests who are innovators and industry players that are driving the change that is helping make financial services more modern, innovative, and inclusive in India. Come join us as we explore the changing landscape of fintech in India. Welcome back to India Fintech Diaries, the show where we discuss all things Indian fintech. I'm your host, Elroy. Today we have a very special guest with us, one who was with us on one of our very first episodes. It's my great pleasure to welcome again B.G.Mahesh, co-founder and CEO of the Sahamati Foundation. Welcome back, sir.
So thank you very much. I mean, it is actually a great pleasure because even though it was not only your first podcast in the series, it was for me also the very first podcast in my life. So it's great to be back.
Thank you. When we last spoke to you in late 2020, Mahesh, your first banks were just coming on board account aggregator. Today, now you have millions of accounts linked to AA and you have also seen millions of consent requests fulfilled. Talk to us a little bit about how the adoption has been with financial institutions and industry participants and how the journey has been so far.
Sure. So actually, when we spoke in the year 2020, we had already actually gained, quite a good amount of traction, right. Even though it was the pandemic year. Okay, so many of the private banks had already shown traction and the implementation, integration with account aggregators all had started. But they were yet to officially go live. In a sense, by end of 2020, some amount of transactions, I think, were happening.
Right.
But then we saw by 2021, 8 private banks, all the large private banks had gone live. And thanks to the Deputy Governor of RBI, Shri Rajeshwar Rao, by September 2021, RBI announced officially that the account aggregator ecosystem had gone live. Then what happened was, of all the 4 financial service regulators, as we know, obviously the banking has the largest penetration. Even if you're investing, or you have insurance, or you're doing the pension fund, or you're paying GST or whatever, the basic need is what? You need to have a bank account.
Correct.
So the penetration of the banking system is the highest amongst the individuals, the MSMEs, etc. So it was important for us to ensure that we get all the banks actually alive. And by July 31st, 2022, all the 12 public sector banks in a single shot, they all went live as financial information providers, as we refer them to as FIPs. So by July, we had about 10 large private banks and all the 12 public sector banks, by which we had about 1.1 billion bank account holders were enabled to use this account aggregator framework. So that was a very big thing. And we were able to show that it was not open banking, but open finance, because we went cross-sectoral. If you see today, we have 36 FIPs which have gone live. 12 public sector banks, 11 private banks, so 2 small financial banks, and 2 PFRDA CRAs, 5 life insurance companies, 3 RRBs, and 1 deposit taking NBFC. So it is truly cross-sectoral. And already just a month ago, CDSL and CAMS RTA have gone live. Okay, so part of the depository, which is CDSL and NSDL, CDSL has gone live. NSDL will go live, I think, in about a week actually. And CAMS has already gone live. K Fintech, which is the other RTA, is actually ready. So anytime it may go live. So with that, all your investment, whether it is in equity or MF, will be live. So nowhere else in the world you will see that, this range of your cross-sectoral entities, and this scale is there on a consented data sharing network.
And Mahesh, what's been some of the feedback you've been getting from the various stakeholders in the ecosystem? And more importantly, how has that shaped the work that Sahamati is doing?
See, initially, it is already 4 years since we started. It is very important for anybody else who are planning to start a not-for-profit or organization to work on a very important digital public infrastructure. One should know and recognize, appreciate, etc., that you need to have patience. You need to build brick by brick.
Right.
Okay. And the foundation has to be strong. Only then you will see the results. So for us, I would say one of the most important milestones in building this ecosystem was the 31st July 2022, when all the public sector banks went live. It was a very important thing. And the feedback, obviously, we get from the FIUs, the financial information users who want to use the data. So as of now, it is only the singly held account and the sole proprietor current account, which have gone live. Okay, so they are happy with it, that that they are able to already take a few of the use cases live for FY23, which ended in March 2023. Almost 6,000 to 7,000 crores of loan was given using the AA framework.
Interesting.
Okay, so it is good. And the main feedback which we got, which is not at all surprising, as expected from the FIU, was that the fraud rate which they saw from the bank statements, which varies from 1 to 4%, it shrunk to 0.
Okay.
Because there is no chance of the FIU receiving any fraudulent data, since the FIP is sending this information to FIU, and it will have a digital signature. So if anybody tampers with it, the digital signature will break. So, and it will come seamlessly. It is actually in machine readable format. So everything is actually done in real time. So as we say, your turnaround time drastically reduces, which helps the FIU. But more than that, I think it gives a lot of customer satisfaction, for the one who's seeking the service. So the initial feedback has been good, but we being human beings, we say we want more. That's the thing.
Obviously, yes.
We want more and more. So we are on the job, and we have had, as expected, some teething problems. We have had teething problems. We can't hide it. And if you go on the Sahamati site, we have a page where we show the API health. It shows of each FIP. So initial weeks or months, it was bad. Like of the consents raised, only about 40% of it was successful.
Okay.
So it is a classic example of a half glass full and a half empty. So the way we see it is, we have reached 40%. Now, how about we increase it to 50, 60, and 70? And how about we not say from 40, it will go to 100 directly? And we are on the job. And I should also inform all the listeners that every FIP is very, very committed to show and improve the success rate. So they're all working with us one-to-one on seeing how it can improve.
And other than this particular challenge that you highlighted, what are some of the other challenges you might have faced during the rollout that happened the last 2-3 years?
See, I would say the first phase, it is always the hardest, because you need to convince the players to actually get onto it. It is like in any of a startups, like in a startup, maybe for you to get angel investment is harder. Okay, then comes seed. Okay, then once you have the Series A, then if you are performing, then you will be able to get, Series B, but maybe not in May 2023 because of the funding winter. But I'm telling in general, you will be able to. So for us, we spent close to So 2 years.
Right.
Being engaged, that's why I told you, got to be patient. And, we had gone like at an average every month, we had at least, 5 to 10 workshops. And the results of it showed only after 2 years. And the ones who helped us in this cause, I would say, is the large banks, both private and the PSPs. When the large banks embrace this important framework, then everybody else will follow suit. They're saying that when the large people who in the large institutions which actually scrutinize, will look into it, this and that, and if they have embraced it, I think we don't have to be afraid, to
correct,
actually get onto it. So it was the challenge. And the other challenge which we had was in end of 2020. See, because once you go to implement the framework, because see, what you have from a Revit is the standards, the technical standards. You have to write the code. You means as each FIP, each AA, each FIU. So it is only when the rubber hits the road, you figure out about the problems you have. To give you one example, that like as you know, the account aggregator is data blind. When the FIP sends the data, it encrypts using the public key of the FIU, and only the FIU is able to decrypt it. So theoretically, irrespective of which encryption library you use, the FIU should be able to decrypt it. But then what happened? This entire framework was so secure that even the FIU was not able to decrypt it. It was watertight. Yeah. So then came the entities, both the FIUs and the AAs actually asked us to actually come up with a common encryption library, which everybody could use. So what I'm trying to, so we actually came up with one by having one security expert as a volunteer who developed, but he alone was not involved. Account aggregators were involved in that library, development, testing, etc. FIUs were involved. So what I'm trying to say is, whatever we do, it is a community effort. It is not that, we wrote the code and it went live. It is the community. And then I was asked to give it a name, for that library. Yeah. And I actually said it should be named Rahasya, because it is secret, right?
Correct.
Rahasya. But we had a downside. So it was such a well-kept secret that we had an encryption library. Very few knew that we had an encryption library. So then we had to go and tom it and say we have an encryption library called Rahasya, which you can use.
Yeah, then you would need to do a fair amount of outreach and evangelization as well. Yeah.
So it was a funny thing. Then we had actually one more problem, that these FIUs, the large banks informed us that it would be good that if we have a standardized agreement between FIU and AA, we don't want to be signing 1,000 versions of an agreement. So the first version of the agreement came from an account aggregator. Then everybody came into that, and they actually gave the suggestions. But then we one more very big legal expert actually came in. He completely changed it, and it is called participation terms. Where the rules of the game, the code of conduct, or what is expected of an FIU, FIP is there. And the magic is what? Like, see, if you didn't have participation terms, this agreement between FIU and AA would have been a bilateral agreement.
Correct.
But the FIP would have no visibility to, what has the account aggregator committed to the FIU.
Yeah.
Similarly, the FIU has no clue that what has the FIP committed to the account aggregator. Now we have a common treaty where then FIP knows what are the obligations of AA, what are the obligations of FIU. FIU knows about the FIP. So because so even if you have your common service level agreements, so everybody has to stick to it. So we actually came up with the treaty with the help of the ecosystem, and we solved for it. So as we say that we have come up with a few techno-legal solutions for the ecosystem. So as and when we came across the problems, we were solving. The last one which we came was, as I told you, we have an API health dashboard called SaaS. Again, right. FIUs wanted to know what is the health of FIP. So I think it's every 10 minutes, that dashboard is actually updated.
And Mahesh, what are some of the innovative use cases and business models you have seen emerging as AA has been growing over the last few years? Can you give us a couple of quick examples?
Yeah, I'll give you a very quick example. Obviously, the low-hanging fruit is the lending.
Correct.
Okay. So the lending has taken off. Now almost 60% of the use cases which have been used is for lending. Earlier it was 80%. Okay, right. Now it has become 60. It has come down, though the volumes have gone up, but the percentage has come down. Yes, because now the wealth managers have become extremely active on AA.
Okay.
And few insurance companies have come in. See, for example, for a life insurance company, the way they verify your salary, your income is by asking me the salary slip.
Correct.
Okay. So if I'm extremely creative, I'll be able to do it in Photoshop and make it with a PDF, and it is sent to the insurance company. Okay. But now if I'm able to share my bank statement of my salary bank account, instantly the insurance company is able to verify my salary.
Okay.
So it is for them a very, very huge step, because you have a lot of drop-offs, whether it is in lending, in insurance, in wealth management, because they ask us, the end customer, go and bring this document, go and bring that document. And
right.
Initially you will be enthusiastic, but after a week you are very tired, and you say, okay, I'll buy insurance after one more month. Okay, I'm very tired. So the drop-off rates due to AA has actually come down because of this. The innovative, use cases, I would say that, see, one is the smoother onboarding of the new customer, even if it is a wealth manager, insurance, even for lending, mutual fund, etc. So what happens is they're able to fill the form, your digital form, by getting the data from my bank statement. Okay. And it is also verified, my name, my address, my phone number. Otherwise, it is I who will have to be filling, all those fields. So it actually becomes extremely smooth. Okay. And it becomes very fast. The one which will get implemented, which you will see in, I would say, even in another 6 months, as all the entities, all the types of entities would have gone live in large numbers, is the unclaimed assets.
Okay.
Now, many people do not have a nominee in their accounts.
Right.
Okay. But we think we have a nominee, but sometimes I've seen, even for me, somehow it gets dropped. Okay, because when they move or they upgrade the system, or they move from one system to another system, somehow, something happens. Through AA, you are able to scan your systems. For now, it will at least tell you whether you have a nominee or not. Okay, and I was informing somebody just yesterday, the amount of unclaimed assets in India is extremely huge. Just I saw a few days ago. In investment, in mutual fund alone, the amount of unclaimed funds is 3,000 crores.
Correct. Mutual fund companies are also doing this big push to get everyone to put nominees on their folios.
Yeah, right. But what happens is, many times the end customer also won't know.
Correct.
So if you use a very good personal finance management app, it will show you all the red flags.
Right.
For me, it could be that I am actually spending more, I'm not having a nominee, etc., etc. It will show. So that is a very important use case. See, I'm telling that it was not necessarily designed for this. I'm telling which one, the AA framework only for, but it has already become very important. Number one. Number two, you'll be very surprised to hear that from, I got a mail almost 2.5 years ago from the Ministry of the Rural Development.
Okay.
That they want to use the AA framework. Okay. I mean, we were always thinking of the entities who are under the 4 regulators. But somebody there was looking at this and say, we need it. Okay. So, we got onto the calls. And now on the May 24th event, we will be demonstrating the pilot of that. So I'll explain to you in just 30 seconds about what that use case is. Now, the MORD is having a set of trainees who actually train or folks in this skill development. And if your trainee is able to show that the folks who got trained had a job for 1 year and they were actually getting income every month for a year, then the trainee is compensated by the government. So currently all the trainers have to give the hard copy of the bank statements of all these trainees. Okay. So obviously, there the creativity comes in.
Yeah.
Okay, so you could have the false statement, and it is a lot of friction. Okay, so you have like almost 30-40 lakhs of folks who are beneficiaries of such things. Now with account aggregator, the MORD will be able to get the bank statement of your trainees directly, and automatically you can have a platform which will actually flag to you for who is approved, who's not approved, who is suspicious, etc., etc. So nice. I'm telling, not necessarily we should think that it has to be lending, it has to be insurance, it has to be investment. So it has to be for so many things. Now you can, if you see even about if you see the payment space in UPI, I think few months ago, recurring payment went live.
Correct.
So all your OTT and all now through UPI, you are able to pay. But when it started, nobody thought it was for that. Okay. And even though we are yet to fully take off, we are already seeing a few use cases like that. Number one, I told you unclaimed assets. I told the government where they're able to track the beneficiaries, whether they're getting the money. Okay. And the third one, very quickly, I will say, see, if you take the example of UPI, the ones who are using smartphones for UPI is the smallest segment. The ones who are using feature phone and who are not using a phone for UPI payments is the majority.
Okay.
So a digital public infrastructure should, you would agree with me, should serve every segment of the society.
Correct.
Especially the bottom of the pyramid.
Correct.
And we are talking, we in Sahamati are very clear. We should serve them. And for us, folks like the UPI and actually the postman who serves every square centimeter of India are fantastic examples. So imagine if account aggregator and your postman, we join hands. You are able to offer formal financial services at your doorstep.
Okay.
Okay, but you should have an income. I'm not saying that you don't have income and you get. So now what happens is like how you have the banking correspondents, right? They go home to home and you're able to offer the thing. If you want to withdraw money from your bank account, etc., your banking correspondents do it for you.
Yeah.
Now they will also be able to update the passbook because, through account aggregator, they'll be able to get the statement of, all the banks. And you sitting at home, you'll be able to update your passbook.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not implemented. I'm just saying that these are the things which you will see will transform. And you will see AA will be used in areas which many people had not thought about. Because even if I am a beneficiary of the government, where I'm actually getting some money under some scheme, I should be able to take a loan against it. Okay, and the postman will be able to do it in the sense that he doesn't give the loan, but many of the lenders will be able to tie up with them, and it will be an either the banking correspondent or the postman is able to show in each household that you can apply for a loan with this 5 banks, NBFCs, etc. Are you interested? The loan will be, with the lender. It won't be with the your postal department, but they will be an agent. They will be an enabler, of these things. So I'm saying what I'm trying to tell is we need to join hands with the physical world if you need the skill.
Yeah.
It becomes important. If we think that it is digital, we are going to sit only in the 4 walls in some tier 1 and everything will happen by magic. No, we should work with everybody to ensure we have the skill.
Mahesh, Sahamati is also presenting India's first event for the AA community called SamvAAd. Talk to us a little bit about the event and what to expect at the event.
Sure. So, as SamvAAd means a conversation, and we were very interested that the account aggregator community, which is the FIPs, AAs, FIUs, technology service providers, lawyers, etc., they meet and they're able to converse. Okay, they're able to shake hands, meet, etc., because we have done enough of digital over the last 3 years. Now, I told you about about 165 institutions have gone live as FIUs.
Right.
But the potential of this is few thousands, because NBFCs alone, you have around 8,600 NBFCs.
Yeah.
So any NBFC or any financial regulated entity who are serious about the business, who want to succeed, etc., they will have to use the AA framework. Yeah. So we have also found, we have gone through the list of the ones who are yet to go live. We have found, we have gone and contacted another 200 and odd entities who are a good potential to get on to AA. Okay, so we have invited them. We have invited the ones who have gone live. And if you have seen, our entire day's agenda, you will see we have a lot of what we call the show and tell sessions.
Yes, I noticed that.
Who have gone live have been gracious enough, bold enough to show to the world their use case, how they went live with an AA, with a technology service provider. Okay, what were the challenges they had? What are the gains? Okay, or what are which they have already seen and what they expect to see. So through this show and tell sessions, we do hope the entities who are yet to go live will be inspired by them and will actually join the bandwagon. We also have a global track, because already few countries, I think about 6 countries are already closely seeing our account aggregator framework, and even they showed interest, and a few of the speakers are actually coming. We will be able to hear from them about what they feel about AA and how, if they have a similar framework over there, is there something we can learn, etc., etc. So these are the things which we hope to achieve. So in short, the takeaway for us is the entities who are yet to go live on AA, we hope they'll be inspired by the ones who have gone live, and they will implement it soon.
And Mahesh, who do you think should attend this event, in your opinion?
See, to start with, any entity under the 4 regulators, the financial regulators, technology service providers, then consulting companies. Okay, like all your big 3, the big 4s, example, who are consulting for all these the large financial institutions, will be able to come and speak to the thought leaders and practitioners. So this is not a Gyan session. Okay, this is to hear from the folks who have implemented. Okay, it won't be theory, but it will be about what they have done, etc., etc. So anybody who are directly, indirectly associated with the any of these services, financial services, I'm telling you, they should attend. Technology service providers, the lawyers, the consulting companies, NBFCs, insurance companies, bank, everybody, the small banks should actually come and see how things have been implemented and what the world will be even by the end of the calendar year. And if they don't implement this framework, it could show them that they will be, it will become a huge challenge for them to catch up later.
It was great speaking with you as always, Mahesh. In case any of our listeners wanted to reach out to you, what's the best way they can do that?
So, if they can actually go to our Sahamati site, sahamati.org.in, we have a contact page, that you can fill the form there, or they can email me. Sure. Also, as my email ID is mahesh@sahamati.org.in. Okay, we will ensure we'll respond to every email. We may be a little slow till May 25th, though it ends on May 24th. We will have to.
Yeah, I can understand. I've been part of organizing such events.
So we will have the withdrawal symptoms for a few days, which we are okay with. But we'll be there, and see, our entire team. It's a small team. We are just 8 of us. We will work with any entity, whatever help they need, whatever doubts they have about the framework. We will work with them and ensure that whatever help we can give them to solve, we will do that.
Excellent, Mahesh. I'll include all those details in the show notes, along with details about the event and how people can sign up.
Thanks very much. Thank you very much.
Thanks once again for joining us on the show and spending time with us.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for having us.
That's it from India Fintech Diaries for this week. Do log on to our website, indiafintechdiaries.com, for exclusive content. Until next time, mask on and stay safe.